Located about 8 kilometers north of Dahab, Egypt, the Blue Hole is considered one of the most iconic diving spots in the world. This natural sinkhole reaches a depth of approximately 130 meters. Its shallow entrance, known as the Saddle, is around 6 meters deep, and from there, a tunnel called the Arch stretches 26 meters and drops to about 120 meters, connecting directly to the open sea. In addition to its striking geology, the site is known for its rich marine life, with an abundance of coral reefs and reef fish, making it a magnet for divers from around the world, especially free divers. The easy access from the shore and the lack of strong currents also contribute to its popularity. However, beneath its beauty lies a dark reputation. The Blue Hole is one of the deadliest dive sites on the planet, with estimates suggesting between 130 and 200 fatalities in recent years. In April 2000, a young Russian dive instructor named Yuri Lipsky, only 22 years old, was vacationing in Dahab with his family. Fascinated by the site, he decided to explore the Blue Hole. He tried to find other divers to accompany him, but was discouraged due to his lack of experience and inadequate equipment. Ignoring the warnings from locals and seasoned divers, he chose to dive alone. On the afternoon of April 28, shortly after 5 p.m., Yuri entered the water with a camera mounted to his helmet, recording his descent. Other divers were in the area, many of whom carried 2 air tanks for safety, something Yuri chose not to do. Instead, he went down with only 1 tank, a decision that would prove fatal. The footage shows Yuri moving away from the group and descending deeper. As he dove, his oxygen supply grew increasingly limited. The deeper he went, the more the pressure began to affect his body and mind, impairing his awareness and causing nitrogen to build up in his bloodstream, a dangerous condition known as nitrogen narcosis. Recreational diving guidelines recommend not exceeding a depth of 40 meters, but Yuri went far beyond that. Although he wore a depth gauge on his wrist, he didn't appear to be checking it. The recording reveals that at a certain point, he began to sink uncontrollably. At first, he seemed aware of the situation and attempted to use his buoyancy control device, but the weight of his body continued to pull him down. When he tried to inflate his vest again, the sudden expansion had the opposite effect, pushing him even deeper. Disoriented and with his cognitive functions fading, Yuri eventually reached the bottom of the Blue Hole, around 90 meters below the surface. What began as a daring solo dive ended in tragedy, and his camera captured every moment until the very end. At 5:11 p.m., just 7 minutes after he began his dive, Yuri's camera stopped recording. When he didn't return to the surface, a rescue team was called, but the mission soon shifted from rescue to body recovery. The next day, rescue diver Theomar found Yuri's lifeless body at the bottom of the Blue Hole and brought it back to the surface. During the recovery, it was discovered that Yuri had about 12 kilograms of lead attached to his weight belt. Combined with the rest of his gear, this made him far too heavy for that kind of dive. They also found a damaged buoyancy vest and only a single air tank, containing just 12 liters of compressed air, an insufficient amount for the depth he reached. Interestingly, his camera was still functioning, even though it wasn't designed to withstand such depths. Yuri Lipsky's death was the tragic result of inexperience and lack of preparation for such a dangerous dive. The haunting footage of his final moments now stands as a grim reminder of the ocean's dangers, a death that could have been entirely prevented with the right precautions. The footage is striking. A man walks into the backyard of a friend's house to grab a chair, something simple and routine. He had been told the chair was near the pool, and he made his way there without any issues. But as he turned to leave, something unexpected happened. The front gate was open, and the house's pit bull was already charging toward him. With no time to react, he instinctively used the chair as a shield, trying to keep the dog away. But the animal, acting on protective instinct, lunged at him. What followed was a struggle. The two rolled on the ground as the man tried to defend himself, even while being bitten on the arms. In a desperate move to escape, he managed to shove the dog into the pool. The pit bull splashed into the water, struggling to stay afloat. Despite his injuries, the man didn't run. Instead, he grabbed a nearby wooden stick and extended it to the dog, helping it out of the pool. What's most remarkable is what came next. Once the dog was out of the water, the man grabbed it and calmly led it back to its enclosure, securing the gate. Only then did he walk to his car, clean his wounds, and perform basic first aid on himself. In an interview afterward, he said he was okay, but issued an important warning. The entire situation started because of a simple oversight, an open gate. What could have been a tragedy was narrowly avoided. The video now serves as a serious reminder for all pet owners, especially those with guard dogs. A single lapse in attention can endanger guests, the residents, and the animal itself. This dashboard camera footage was recorded in Nuevo Laredo, Mexico. It was the early morning of January 3, 2020, and a man was driving with his wife shortly after crossing the border. Not long after, they encountered a strange scene. Several cars were stopped on the road with people standing nearby. As the driver got closer, he noticed the individuals gesturing for him to keep going. Despite feeling uneasy, he decided to proceed. But what happened next was completely unexpected, and it was all captured on camera.
What is this? Stop it for you. It's the cartel.
Yeah.
As seen in the footage, this was an ambush carefully planned by a cartel. The group set up the scene to force the vehicle to stop, but thanks to the driver's quick thinking and sharp maneuvering, he managed to escape at high speed, turning back down the road. Criminal groups like this are known for setting up roadblocks in various regions, often targeting pickup trucks, which are later used for different purposes. They also rob unsuspecting drivers, stealing wallets, cell phones, and other valuable items. That same morning, several reports were filed from people who had belongings stolen, including bank cards. This footage was recorded in southern Africa. A man named Malcolm was cycling alone along a trail when, near the end of his ride, he was caught off guard by someone hiding in the bushes. Realizing the man was armed, Malcolm tried to stay calm to avoid escalating the situation. Within seconds, two more individuals appeared and began thoroughly searching him for valuables. The attackers took his car keys, bicycle, and sunglasses. At one point, one of the men looked straight into the camera attached to Malcolm, but didn't take it, likely unaware of what it was. Remarkably, the footage captured by that camera was later used as evidence, which led to the arrest of all three suspects involved. This footage was recorded inside an elevator in Cincinnati, United States. The video shows an off-duty police officer, identified as Daryl J., who had just gone out to dinner with his wife. He entered the elevator at the Mercer Commons parking garage, and everything seemed normal, until he decided to handle the firearm he was carrying. As soon as the doors closed, Daryl pulled his .40 caliber pistol from the holster, apparently intending to adjust or reposition it. But something went wrong. The gun got caught in his jacket, and as he tried to prevent it from falling, it accidentally discharged. The bullet ricocheted and struck the officer in the stomach. Immediately, he collapsed to the floor of the elevator while his wife quickly pulled out her phone to call for help. Despite the injury, he managed to get back on his feet, exited the elevator with difficulty, and was assisted by someone else in the building. Paramedics arrived quickly and found Daryl Jett conscious and able to speak. He was transported to the hospital, and fortunately, the injury wasn't life-threatening. Still, the incident made headlines around the world, serving as a serious warning. A firearm is not a toy. One careless move, one wrong gesture, and it can go off. No warning, no second chance. He was lucky the shot only hit him and not someone else, especially considering his wife was standing right next to him. Things could have ended much worse. Incidents like this show that training alone isn't enough if basic attention is missing. It doesn't matter if you're a police officer, a security guard, or a civilian. Carrying a weapon requires constant care, from how it's stored to how it's handled. A small mistake, like a gun getting caught on a jacket, can lead to an accidental discharge in seconds. And no one wants to find out firsthand just how much damage that can cause.